Good morning. Hello, everyone. I want to have a chat about. Hang on, let me just get my mic a little bit closer. I want to have a chat about, working from home. Is it a good or bad thing? So, for me personally, I've been working from home since 2018 when I took my career coaching business full time. And in my case with business, I simply need a computer and a phone really to run the business. Um, the advantages for me working from home is that it's time saving. Obviously, I no longer need to commute into an office. I can run my office from my home office. I can schedule my breaks when I want to, take time to play with the dog when I want to, go for walks when I want to, um, stop for body movement. So I kind of stop every 90 minutes, have a dance for about 5 to 10 minutes. And so there's those advantages. I even have a mattress in my home office when I feel like taking the odd nap. And that does happen. Sometimes, I'm so busy, focused and concentrating, especially when you're coaching people or writing documents, focused resume and LinkedIn profiles and career profiles. There's a lot of focused energy required, and that can be exhausting. So when I do quite a few of those in a day, I have been known to curl up on the mattress in my office floor and have a nice little nap. So that's some of the advantages of working from home for me, but there are disadvantages. So even 3 years on, I still find that the isolation can get to me sometimes. And pre-COVID, I used to make a point of going to meet a lot of my new clients at cafes, either close to my home, within walking distance from home, or sometimes often, in fact, even at cafes in the city. And it was simply to break up the monotony of the day and to get connected with people, because I do work in a very isolating practice. Being a resume writer, being a career coach who works with people over the phone mostly and via email and so on, as I said, can be very isolating. And so I actually love the experience of going in to meet my clients face to face. And I used to do a lot of that pre-COVID. Post-COVID, or during COVID, in fact, I wouldn't say post-COVID, COVID's still going on, but during COVID, I had to pivot to doing, Zoom calls. And it's sort of, it's a watered down version of connection and face-to-face. So, but what do others say? So I recently read through, a survey done by Indeed, which is a job search engine here in Australia and across the world, in fact. But I read through the one done by Indeed in Australia, a survey done trying to see what people think about working from home. And here are some of the things that the survey revealed. So some people said they love it because it's fewer distractions and less socializing. And, people find that they can focus, they can get into a zone when they're doing particular types of work, and they loved it for that reason. And then others said, well, finally, we have proof that productivity won't be dropped, because, there are many people, mothers in particular, that have been requesting that balance of working from home and working in the office for ages. But they often had to convince bosses, because people had this idea that productivity would wane and, go down. And so many bosses weren't keen to do that. But now, of course, when we've been forced to do it, and many companies have seen that, productivity has not slumped. People have, in fact, been doing more work. We no longer have to convince bosses that that working from home is going to have a negative impact on productivity. A lot of people enjoy the fact that they don't have to commute. That commute time is cut now. No longer have to get on the bus or the train or both to get into the office. They pretty much walk from one room to the other, and they at their office, so to speak, their working office. And they like the fact that they can have those casual conversations with family members, when everyone takes a break and grabs a coffee or a tea. You sometimes congregate, meet in the kitchen, and you can have a quick little chat with your family, and then everybody goes back to their respective spaces to continue their work. So those are some of the advantages that lots of people have found. But, there's always a flip side, isn't there? So in some cases, people have noticed that the work-life balance is slipping. So numbers have shown from the survey that, I'll just look at the numbers that Australians are working unpaid overtime is now 5.24 hours. The average hours is 5.24 hours of unpaid overtime, and it has risen since the 2019 figures, which was sitting at 4.6 hours of unpaid overtime. Because let's face it, it's easy to keep going with work when you don't have to think about making a train schedule or a bus schedule, So a lot of people just keep going and they keep going, have a quick break for dinner, and then keep going. Some people even after dinner. So certainly hours, lots of people have noticed that hours have increased. And I certainly noticed it even in my own household. So my partner is working, I believe, longer hours than he did when he was at the office. And what that means is that I then also find myself working longer hours, because if, no one's ready yet for dinner, or they're not yet available to sort of congregate with, sit down and watch a show or a movie with, then I find myself continuing to work those extra hours. So I would definitely agree with the fact that unpaid overtime hours have now increased since people have started working from home. And then there are also, the other flip side is that some people find that the isolation also is getting to them. They like that interaction with their colleagues. They like the fact that they can gather around the water cooler or in the kitchen and have a quick chat. People like the idea of catching up on more than just work when they go out for the work coffees or the little lunch, gatherings and so on. So everything, I suppose, in life has an advantage and has a disadvantage. And I imagine, this whole working from home situation encompasses that as well. There's always advantages and disadvantages. And so I suppose in conclusion, for me anyway, it's not as clear-cut as we'd like to think. What I do know is that a number of Aussies in the survey have revealed that they would like a mixture of both. Many people want to work 2 to 3 days from home and do some of their time in the office. So that way they can get that, blended balance of the two, the time where they can mix with their colleagues, they can have the catch-ups and chit-chats and so on. But even then, we've got to then now look at how we do this, all those who do go back to the office, how do we do it in a COVID-safe way? Because health is also a priority for lots of companies, and companies are navigating that as well. So, no clear-cut answers there. I'm interested to know how you are feeling about it. What has your experience been about working from home? I've shared a bit about what mine's been like, but mine's been like that pretty much pre-COVID as well. For me, the isolation has been the biggest thing, the biggest challenge. And then not having to commute, that's been great. And, having to pivot to Zooms with my clients rather than face-to-face meetings. It's been great in one way and also a challenge in another way, because I'm not sure that you can get that real people connection through a Zoom meeting or a Skype meeting or any of those things. I think we still need to be able to, connection happens through more than simply seeing someone. Connection happens through that non-verbal communication, body language, and all of those things that really is only visible up close. Anyway, let me know how your working from home has been. Do you find it a good or bad experience, a blend of both? What are your thoughts? I'm interested to know. So feel free to leave a comment or even DM me, because I like doing research. I love gathering answers. I like knowing what other people think about things. And, I was just interested in knowing what people thought about the whole working from home model that we currently working under. Is it good? Is it bad? Are you neutral about it? Let me know. Have a great day. Bye.